kind of going to be a different video. This is just going to be my take about Black Pigeon Speaks and his recent video, which he talked about a second meme war, which is coming. In fact, the first few shots of it are definitely coming here. Now, there's already a meme. There was a meme war that occurred back in 2016 between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and especially with the establishment, the Democratic Party, and even to some extent the Republican Party establishment supporting Hillary Clinton. Now, as we already know, we have won that. But in his video, the next meme war is definitely going to be somewhat of a disillusionment with how things are going on. He mentions the new memes that made by the Yang Gang, as well as just the overall disillusionment with many Trump supporters over how he's handling immigration as well as online censorship. Now, I'm going to be putting his video down in the description below, so that way you could obviously see for yourself about it, understand his own personal opinion. Now, I would just argue that that while I agree that there's going to be some sort of meme war, there's going to be a meme war coming the 2020 elections, it's more of an extension of what has happened with 2016, as well as a different division when it comes to both sides fighting this new meme war. In the first meme war, like I said before, it was between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. That was mainly because of partisan politics, and especially with a few disaffected voters, especially many from the Obama administration, just tired about the same thing happening over and over again. And even Black Pigeon Speaks mentions this in his video. Donald Trump has made a few changes, especially with more legal immigrants in the country than any president prior, and especially with his move of putting an embassy in Jerusalem. That's just only two of the videos that he managed to put in his video. And again, you can see the video for yourself down in the description below. But he also mentions how a lot of Trump supporters have been very disaffected about how he's been handling both the immigration as well as online censorship issue that's occurring here in the United States. And I honestly would argue on both cases, this is completely a completely different situation. Because I've actually mentioned before in one of my previous videos how Donald Trump has managed to score a victory with the Supreme Court finally giving him an okay, I would have to say an okay sign of allowing him to use military funds to build the border wall in between the U.S. and Mexican border. But there's a lot more to this story than that. Just a week or two ago, 14 miles of the border wall have actually been constructed and completed, and this was between San Diego and Tijuana, I believe that the city is called. It's the city basically is close to San Diego. That's on the Mexican side of the border, and they've already built up 14 miles of border wall there. Now, according to a new news sources, the AP News, as well as the Arizona Republic and Yahoo News, have said that Donald Trump is building new border parts of the border wall in places in New Mexico and Arizona. This is a major development, and it shows that how much progress he's making. After many years with Congress delaying or just refusing to give him as the money that he wants, he has finally taken on the directive of placing a national emergency over the entire issue of a gay fight for the wall. And that has led to his success. Like I said before, I made a video about this, his victory in the Supreme Court, so I will also be putting that in the description below. He's also managed to introduce although it hasn't been implemented yet, the idea of a point-based immigration system, something similar to what Australia currently has. While that's currently not getting as much attention as for right now, it may eventually bear some fruit in the next coming months, and that's what I think may occur. And of course, he actually, his administration has been denying a lot of people green visas to come into the United States. So I think that's a big step that he's taking, especially with how he's handling the overall immigration issue. He's now building this wall. He's working on the whole. He's trying to work out the deal with allowing migrants to have green cards into the United States, and maybe overstaying them. And he's even just throwing out the idea of a point-based immigration system. Again, I think that there will be more details on this system over the coming months. But to continue on, online censorship. He made Black Pigeon speech mentions that Donald Trump has been monitoring the situation, but in all honesty, it hasn't. Well, according to him, that it hasn't really. There hasn't been much progress aside from the social media summit, and I would say that is definitely. I wouldn't say that is completely true, because online censorship, especially when it comes to regulation by the United States government, when it comes to big tech dealing with this, is a very fine issue. It involves the First Amendment, for crying out loud. So he's trying to. So it's a very important issue that he needs to tread upon, so that way it doesn't alienate the American public, as well as many of these internet platforms that want to make money, both big tech and just the regular YouTubers or just internet users in general. That being said, he has mentioned 2 weeks ago that he is drafting an executive order to deal with this situation. Now, the reason why it hasn't been thrown out yet is because of, like I said, this is a major issue, and it could easily be challenged as the result that it may be violating the First Amendment. So that is why that Donald Trump hasn't yet introduced this issue. Although it is definitely frustrating to see the overall issue of online tech censorship still continuing to this point. Hell, a lot of YouTubers I'm subscribed to, American Crooked and the Iconoclast, have actually disappeared from YouTube as a result of them supposedly spreading hate speech. It's basically what happened to Black Pigeon about a month ago. Although there was a major outcry on YouTube, thankfully, and that managed to get him re-established. Although I'm pretty sure that, in all honesty, this may happen again. Now, why is it that I'm mentioning these two situations? Why does this contribute to the next meme war of 2020? The reason why is because it means that Donald Trump is listening to his fan base. He's listening to the issues that are very concerning to average Americans. In this case, it's the major issues of online tech censorship, as well as immigration. I understand that anybody would be writing down in the comments below about some issues that they have with Donald Trump not putting in enough effort that I can partially understand, but nonetheless, he is still trying to look into that sort of situation. And at the same time, because of this, I don't really think that there's been that much of a disillusionment among his fan base. In all honesty, I think it's the exact opposite. The reason why is because of what the Democratic Party is doing. They have been turning so far left, that at this very point, socialism has become the major platform of the Democratic Party. Not just attacking Donald Trump or wanting to call for his impeachment, but just socialism in general. Something that no American wants. Or at the very least, a minority of them want, but most Americans prefer not to. And this has caused a major division in the Democratic Party, one that has been around since 2016. And this resulted in many movements such as Blacksit, as well as the Walk Away movement, or the hashtag Walk Away movement. And a lot of these people have as a result, either went fully independent, or they turned to President Donald Trump. I heard many people saying that they did not vote for Donald Trump back in 2016, but are definitely planning to vote for them this time around. When you have a disaffected populace that has been known to vote for the Democratic Party and is now changing to the Republicans, that should put the fear of God in the Democratic Party. Here's another thing I would also like to add as well, and this is also contributes with the whole Great Meme War. With all of this going on, there's also been the rise itself of civic nationalism, which is something that in what Black Pigeon speaks in his own video, civic nationalism is dead, which is something that I completely disagree about. After all, I saw a lot of Trump supporters as well as other people trying to haul away a lot of garbage that has been building up in Baltimore, and a lot of attention's being looked at on these cities, as well as these left-leaning states such as California, Washington right here, and many others as well. There's been a lot of attention, and people are not really happy about that. Especially in Washington State, believe it or not, a lot of people do not like Jay Inslee for his contribution to a lot of the homelessness that's been occurring, mainly on the west side of Washington State, mainly in Seattle. So, how does this contribute to the meme war itself? This has reshaped the battlefield itself, the political battlefield. It's not simply a partisan battle between the Republican and Democratic Party. Although it may seem like that on the surface, it is a battle between nationalism and those who are anti-nationalists, as well as globalists and as well as socialists and supporters of any far-left ideology. That is what the difference is. It's now mainly nationalists that have basically garnered the support of many people. Not just Republicans, not just conservatives, not just Trump supporters, but moderates and disaffected liberals. That, I think, is actually building up more support, and I think that's how Donald Trump is definitely going to win in 2020 presidential election. That's my personal opinion. And in all honesty, this is just building up the idea of nationalism becoming, or in particular, civic nationalism here in the United States rising to its fullest extent. Now there are definitely people who do not like this, especially people such as Antifa and other far left factions, especially those in the Democratic Party, considering now that they're taking over leadership of that party. They've gone so far left that, like I said before, it's disaffecting moderates as well as center-left liberals. I mean, take Tim Pool for example. He was definitely into. He's been a lifelong Democratic supporter, and yet he's definitely having major issues as well as criticism about how the Democratic Party is running. And he's actually thinking of either becoming independent, voting independently, or just writing down the name of Tulsi Gabbard in the ballot box, because he is that pissed off. In all honesty, I think that this meme war, this second meme war that is about to occur, is just going to be an extension of the first meme war back in 2016. But it has now become much deeper than just simple partisan politics. It is now becoming nationalism versus the globalists, as well as far left ideology in general. And with the massive support that the right is gaining from these disaffected groups, I am pretty certain that the right wing, in terms of this meme war, is definitely going to win the culture war. That I entirely believe. And it's definitely going to have a major effect, not just on society in the United States in general, but also with the rise of nationalism. This will be a very important point when it comes to the change of the US's culture in general. That I think is what is going to happen. I'm just going to say, though, I do disagree with many things of what Black Pigeon says in his own video. In fact, I've actually read some of the comments there as well, which some have actually criticized a little bit of his video, although they still like him. I still like him too. But I think we can all agree that this culture war is definitely going to be a major climax coming to 2020 elections, because now it's going to be Americans who support their country versus the socialists, the progressives, as well as other factions that support far left ideology, as well as many things, as well as against the establishment as well. That is definitely going to be the line that is drawn. It will be the establishment with the support of the far left and other groups such as them, versus those that not only love their country, not only are conservatives, but also disaffected by how things are going out. And I think that with this disillusionment, and this schism with the left wing spectrum of American politics, that the right wing is definitely going to win not only this meme war, but the culture war in general. My name is Nomi, the Arc Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any criticism about my video, as well as how I make them, what I say, please be sure to either post them down in the comments below or directly message me right above. Thank you.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains.